On the 13th day of Christmas, Moose brings to me the Season 5 premiere, Christmas Bloody Christmas, with Santa Claus himself, Abe Benrubi.
Welcome, Horror Hounds, to the 13th horrifying day of Christmas and the Season 5 premiere of Moose's Monster Mash. I'm your host, Moose, and for the Season 5 premiere, I couldn't think of anyone better than somebody from Parker Lewis Can't Lose, ER, and Santa Claus himself. Please welcome Mr. Abe Benrubi.
Woo! Thank you, Moose. A pleasure to be here.
Glad to have you. Definitely wanted to, after watching Christmas Bloody Christmas, it's like, yeah, I've got to reach out and get you on, and then having Corin on last year, I'm like, all right, that's my in.
For sure. You know, man, I'm always pleased to hear that anybody watched Christmas Bloody Christmas. I'm looking forward to pimping it a little bit again this year and hoping that more eyeballs catch it, because we had a blast making it, and I think it's, for the right audience, a gentleman like yourself, it's definitely a fun ride.
Oh, 100%. And
yeah,
before we dive into that, how's life? How's everything going?
You know, man, the small picture is very good. I have a wonderful wife and two friendly dogs, and we seem to be safe and have food, etc. Big picture, I dare not look beyond my blinders, because holy cow, what are we doing to each other, man? What are we doing to each other in this world? It's just insane. So that's where I'm at. How about you, Moose?
About the same. I mean, it's small picture. I got, the family, 3 kids, 3 dogs, 2 cats. It's like the Brady Bunch with animals.
I love that. Where are you in the world?
I'm in Omaha, Nebraska.
Very nice, very nice.
It's getting colder.
What do I know from there? I know there's a great indie band from there whose name I'm not going to be able to remember. A very prolific Omaha songwriter. There's a great music scene in Omaha, is what I'm trying to say.
It's getting colder, which means the arthritis is kicking in.
Same here. Yeah, we're down to 75 today, so my arthritis is kicking in.
Oh, I would love 75. It's, I think, well, this morning when I took the kids to school, it was 48.
Oh my gosh.
I walked out the front door, and just heard everything creaking and groaning. I'm like, oh, I gotta get you to school. I gotta get back inside. That sounds like an old rocking chair.
Oh, that's funny. It's funny, man. That's okay. We get, we get some other benefits. You get to just lay around or whatever old man thing you do.
Right.
Yeah.
So, what got you into acting? I mean, you certainly don't blend in.
What got me into acting originally was reading fantasy and sci-fi and comic books as a little kid, and pretending to be Spider-Man or Bilbo Baggins, and then daydreaming my way through the 3rd grade. My one teacher said, to my mom, why don't we have Abe be Santa Claus in the school play? And I wound up doing that, and they funneled me into the local theater program at the Indianapolis Civic Theater, which was great. Just a great, fun, perfect place for a 10-year-old kid to start learning theater. And in high school, a film from from Hollywood came to Indianapolis to use our Olympic diving facility, and I auditioned for that film and got a small part, and the director and other actors encouraged me to come to LA, and that's how I got here. Yeah.
Well, and as corny as this sounds, and I kid you not, this is not just because, this is not just me kissing your ass. I've always been a fan of. I've always been a fan of seeing you on screen.
I appreciate it.
And a lot of it is, I have always been the big kid. I mean, in second grade, second through fifth grade, I was pushing 5 foot. So like,
Five. Yeah. Yeah. So you were the big kid in the class for sure.
yeah, I've always been tallest in the class, and then it was like tallest and whitest in the class. So then, you're starting to see, shows with like you on Parker Lewis, or your Spot on Wings, or
Yeah.
your one off on Growing Pains where you played really big kid. It's like, hey,
That's right.
there is a there is a place for this.
Well, sure. And you know from your own life experience that every little circle of friends has at least one big dude, and it's usually one big dude and one little dude, and then like two like handsome dudes that roll in and out of the group.
Yeah.
And I think that's sort of what was relayed on Parker Lewis, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
You like that segue? I made that segue happen. No, but you get to, they always tell us art reflects life, or life reflects art, or whichever way you prefer to look at it. And it's true. What we recognize in our entertainment is based on something in our own lives, I think. Too philosophical for this hour of the morning. I'm so sorry, Moose.
No, you're right, though. I mean, that's one of the coolest things about Parker Lewis was it was like spot on for what, like there were a lot of shows that were representative of what kids were around that time, but I think Parker Lewis really nailed what kid groups were like. Because I mean, you had shows like Saved by the Bell and different kid group shows, but they didn't really capture the group dynamic of what a real group of friends was like.
I like that. And what's interesting, you made me think of while you were saying that, which is really thoughtful, the way you put it, is that all of these shows are created by people who are the next generation up, right? So like the Parker Lewis's storylines are based on memories of those guys from their high school days, adapted to whatever the modern sensibility is. And that's something that I kind of never thought about as we were making it. Certainly, maybe I have to be this old to look at it and hear your insights on it. I think that's pretty cool and weird, and it would be strange to see a high school show made by high school age people. That would be really cool.
Yeah, say, because it'd be like now it would be essentially us making a high school show for the next generation based on our high school experiences, and it's not going to connect. It's not necessarily going to connect the same with the current high school crowd, because
correct,
in just the last 15 years, times has changed so much.
Gosh! In just the last 5 years,
yeah,
3 years,
we're on such a fast, we're on such a fast-moving curve that it's going to be it'd be so hard to try to have that writing style that I think that's part of why you don't see that style of show anymore, because it's just it's
yes, it's also
you can't do it.
Yeah, you know what? I don't think you can do it with cell phones. If Jerry had a cell phone, it would have ruined that coat. It it takes the magic away. I think like if you look at a show like I don't have a show to give you because I don't watch anything, but I know when I see in a film, and a lot of it takes place with people talking on their cell phones, I'm like, I'm not too worried, because this guy could just call the cops and be fine.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what that made me think. Sorry.
Well, and that was one of the biggest. So, not that long ago, they did a remake of MacGyver, and that was one of the big concerns.
Exactly.
Like, why did, how is this going to work? Because now everything, like you said, everyone has cell phones. Does MacGyver need to exist in the modern world?
Right.
Where
How did
everything's
they
just a
solve it in
phone
that
call
film?
away. And
Yes.
the interesting thing was the cell phone became essentially the new Swiss Army knife. It got broken up and used in every MacGyverism.
I
Rarely,
like that. Now, see, that's a smart way of doing it. I like that. That's somebody's thinking, along the same path as what I'd like to see. Break
right.
the phone and use it for other stuff.
I say rarely did it actually
I like
get
that.
used for a phone, but it had all the
Mm-hmm.
computer chips and everything that you need to solve the puzzle really quick. So I was like, all right, cool.
Yep.
That's thinking outside of the box.
Yeah, I like that. I like that too. Very cool. Whoever the writer of that one is, kudos. Give that guy another script to give us.
Right. It's like that's how you take something and put it in the modern world, and not just, oh, hello, police, army.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
because everything is easy
Yeah.
to solve with a phone call.
Yeah. It's true. But if you think about something like, I don't know, Apocalypse Now. I mean, I guess they had access to that almighty, right? Like the bomb. You could call in the bomb squad, the bombers. But it just felt more earned.
Yeah.
than some modern takes on it. Yeah, I like that MacGyver approach, though, man. Take it apart. Anyway, sorry. That is a tangent we have been on, Moose.
So, as I scrolled through your career acting resume, it astounds me that, like, when I bring up your name, people are like, "Oh, the Parker Lewis guy." You realize you did over twice as many ER episodes as you did Parker Lewis episodes. How are you not the ER
sure.
guy?
Way more. I am. So it depends on the audience. You are part of the audience that would. There's also the dude from the program and the guy from Up the Creek Without a Paddle. The guy from Twister. There's a few options there, but for your tastes run more towards the Parker Lewis, or that's where you first encountered the full effect.
The full Benrubi.
Exactly. My old agent used to say I was on Benrubi Standard Time because it would take me longer than half an hour to call him back, which was unusual for actors in those days.
How did ER come about?
Anyway, ER came about because I had auditioned for China Beach many times, and when they were casting ER, casting director John Levy had like 250 roles to fill, and so at some point after they had locked in all their hard to get people, they just offered some of the smaller roles to people that they knew and liked. I had never booked anything on China Beach, so they just offered it to me, and it was we had a super fun time. It was originally a 2-hour movie of the week kind of thing, and it was very unique at that time. It's hard to really even we can do anything in the movies now, but in 1994 when we started ER, moving around with the Steadicam for 10 pages in a row of a TV show was out of the ordinary. It was a very unique experience to be a part of that sort of new, ushering in a new way of making television. That was cool.
Hell yeah. And ER seemed to have opened the door to voice acting for you, because there's a lot of voice work after ER. So do you prefer
I'll tell you what
the voice work or the on-screen work?
Oh man. Well, I'll tell you what actually opened the voice-over work for me was working with Seth Green in New Zealand on Without a Paddle. He and his friend Matt Senrich had made what is now Robot Chicken in their garage, basically. And he showed us the episodes when we were down there, and I said, "Man, I would love to be a part of that." And when they turned it into a TV show, he invited me to be a part of it, and that's actually how I cracked the voiceover gatekeepers. But through that initiation and working with sound engineers and casting directors and voice directors, I love doing that, man. That's really the happy spot, making monster noises for World of Warcraft, or right now we've been doing stuff for Diablo 4 expansion. I had a really fun show on Nickelodeon called It's Pony, where I was the dad, which unfortunately got very few eyeballs, but if you have kids in the 6 to 10-year-old range, I recommend that show. It was really funny. Yeah, man, I love doing voiceover. That's my jam. Even while during COVID, we were able to record It's Pony from home. Like, they sent me a laptop, a modern computer, and I was able to record all my stuff from here, from my house. It was awesome. In my underwear, Moose. I was working in my underwear. What do you think of that? That's the actor's life right there.
Isn't that
life?
Isn't that the best? Where you can just be like, I'm at work. I'm sitting in my underwear, but I'm at work.
It was. It's true. I was sweating.
Like, it sounds weird, but that was like the best thing to come out of COVID. You know, because you could just do everything from home, and pants were optional.
Yes, 100%. Pants are still optional in my opinion, but you gotta do what you feel is right, of course. No, listen. There's definitely misery from COVID, of course, but there were things that I think made people realize that we need to reassess some of the ways we do things.
It's like, I found a message that I sent a buddy of mine during COVID. I was like, hey, I have a teleconference call with my doctor. Do you think pants are mandatory? He's like, shirt mandatory. Pants are optional if you're sitting down. I was like, okay.
And it worked out, and it worked for the doctors too, man. They don't have to, I think telemed was a big help for, at least for like a general practitioner, right? They don't have to see every single patient for every single thing. So,
especially the ones that are running in all the time.
Yeah, exactly right. But you and I, in this conversation already, have alluded to the fact that it is a rapidly changing world, and I don't see it slowing down anytime soon.
No.
So some of it's welcome. Some of it is welcome, and others we're going to have to figure out.
It does kind of go back to what, like, the Jetsons and everything promised us, where it is more virtual. It is, we are getting closer to that, fast-paced technological future, and it's eerie to watch it in real time.
Yeah. And see how, like, sort of janky it is.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to be Jetsons smooth for a while. You just look at, like, the self-driving cars, right? It seems like there aren't too many of those programs, and they're already shutting them down. And
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's not the best idea. I don't know.
Well, I mean, we were there for the birth and rise of the internet. So
absolutely,
we had to watch that
20 years of the iPhone yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think about.
Yep. Yeah. And then how much of all the things we could do, and then what we wind up doing with them. That's the fucking kick in the ass right there.
Yeah.
There's definitely some good though. I try to remind myself that there are definitely people doing good in the world.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, with everything, I think everything starts with the best of intentions.
Absolutely, I think so too.
Yeah, just may or may not end that way.
Ideally, that's right. That's a hopeful attitude, though. I like that.
I mean, even the atomic bomb
Sure.
started with the best of intentions.
I suppose
It
that's
just-
how they sold it to us at any
Yeah. Say it started with, we won't have to use it. We used it.
Yeah.
Say it's very much one of
Yeah.
those. Yeah, it's better to have it and not use it than need it and not have it. Yeah, well,
I
in this
don't
case,
know,
it didn't
man.
apply.
I'm not sure how to think about it, honestly. No, it's. I hope nobody ever has to go through that again.
No.
I really do.
I say
Really
you talk about real life horror.
Unreal. That does does transition me to tell you how excited I am for Godzilla -1 coming up in December.
Yes.
Oh shit! I'm sorry. I made myself laugh with a transition from atomic bomb to Godzilla. I don't know if you're a Godzilla fan, but for me,
100%.
there's 2 Godzillas coming. Right? There's 2 Godzillas coming in the next couple of weeks, and only one of them is the real Godzilla, in my opinion.
Well, plus, the
Right.
Monarch series.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I would just want the super cut of monster battles and get rid of all the acting for that one. For me,
Figure
they
I'm
do
at least
a great job with their monster battles.
100%. Figure.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to check out the Monarch series and see what they plan to do with it, because it's a good shot to interject some lesser known kaiju,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
like the possibilities are endless.
Oh yeah. Especially if it does well, they could buy in other licenses, and like you could wind up having like a Mazinger battle. You know, it could be cool. It could be very cool. So
absolutely.
I hope they have success, but I'm more excited about the real Toho Godzilla coming 2 weeks later. That one looks amazing, and I love Godzilla. I'm a big Godzilla fan. Actually, another thing we can kind of segue now that I've been doing during COVID, and that's been fun, is I've been doing English dubs on other language shows. So a couple of Czech shows, a couple of Korean shows, and that was my segue from the old Godzilla dubs, which I used to love to watch as a kid. Now, if I watch Godzilla now, I watch it in Japanese, but not that I understand what they're saying, but I get it, But I used to love that the dub didn't match the lips.
Yes.
That was one of my favorite parts of Godzilla. Yeah. So, been doing that. That's fun. A few Netflix things. Trying to think of what one is called. My Name is a cool Korean female cop show, female-led cop show. Really kind of crazy action and stuff. So that's a fun, like, actor side gig.
And you have
cool.
such a effeminate voice.
I do. I'm not the lead. I am an actor. I can do whatever you need, Moose. Whatever voice you need. That's how we are.
Oh,
I'm
man.
capable. You silly. That would be funny though. I would do that too. That would be a hoot actually. You could do that with your friends, almost like a video TV show karaoke. Right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we used to do that with animes and some like.
This is perfect.
Just like old Western, just like Old West or like some black and white movies, just turn the sound off and just redub it. It was always a blast.
Yeah, that's good times. Yeah, I love that. Like Mystery Science Theater 3000, they rebooted that recently with a good dude named Jonah Ray, who's also in the forthcoming to be discussed Christmas Bloody Christmas. Have we gotten there yet?
Nope.
Is it too early to talk about?
So let's segue into
Murder Bots.
Let's talk about Murder Bots.
I liked it. He thinks that we've done this before, Moose. Somebody would think that maybe. Yes. Christmas Bloody Christmas. We made that in Placerville, California. We basically took over a small town. We made it in the old school style, 16 millimeter film. Everything's practical. the director, madman behind it all, is a guy named Joe Vegas, and he is a true lover of that sort of 70s and 80s and beyond horror, but especially those two eras. And the love for it comes out in his work, and I fell in love with the movies he was making, and I got lucky enough to join up in his stable of circus freaks that he uses and reuses. So the Christmas Bloody Christmas experience was the best kind of filmmaking, where everybody's in it because they love the project, they love the guy, nobody's getting rich, nobody's living in a high-class hotel, and it was a really, really cool experience with some really great performances. And if you're a fan of horror movies at all, it's totally worth watching for the holidays. Christmas, Bloody Christmas. I'm sure it's streaming somewhere, everywhere. Shudder, at least.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it's a good time. We blow up shit. There's a last girl. There's some crazy cops.
It follows all the traditional like camp slasher horror tropes, just horror tropes in general. I mean, there's a sex murder scene. There's there's all of it. Plus a killer robot.
It's an homage to many things. Yes, spoiler. I guess it's not a spoiler at this point. It's about a killer Santa Claus robot. And if you go down to one of your big box hardware stores, you can probably see a version of that right now that is just as scary as the one I did in the movie.
Yeah. Well,
please don't buy that shit, people. Please.
I remember watching it and I was like, man, he's not just playing a murderous Santa Claus. Because, when I first saw the trailer for it, I was thinking, okay, it's somebody dressed as Santa who went batshit crazy. And then it's no, this is animatronic Santa went batshit crazy. So now you're playing a robot who is on a murdering spree.
Yes. Is there any other kind of robot in the movies? Come on now.
No.
Only Wall-E is the only good robot. Every other robot's a murderer.
Well, there's Johnny Five.
I'm pretty sure. Oh, there's R2-D2. Although I'm sure he killed some people in there somewhere. Anyway. Yes, so murdering Santa-Bot.
What was direction for that like? Because, you had to stay pretty stiff for the whole movie to keep up with the robot, visual.
I tried to keep it pretty stiff. It's funny, man. When I'm there doing it, I have it in my mind as sort of like, oh, this must look Terminator-esque, right? And then you see it and it's a little bit more like big box store Santa Claus. And so I was like, well, let's imagine that if this thing was really going to be at the mall or at this toy store, it would probably be pretty janky. And I can definitely play the janky version of this, right? I'm not built like Schwarzenegger. So I just kind of leaned into the janky robot Santa that was still fully capable of murdering young women and whoever needed to be murdered if needed. And I found a lot of fun and joy in that. And I don't know if anybody else was even aware of that, but it made me laugh as I was doing it, which is always a good sign, I think.
Yeah, no, it was definitely a fun watch. I love Christmas horror. Because it's Christmas and horror, you don't think they would mesh up very well. Because you take this pure and happy time of the year and you murder it up.
Oh yeah.
And there's
so much, man.
Yeah. And there's just something next level about, taking what is supposed to be this pure, joyful, blissful time and setting that as a backdrop to a horror slasher movie. It makes me happy.
Well, again, it goes back to something that we can relate to. Even if you're not a Christian, you can't avoid the Christmas holiday because it's so super saturated throughout our culture, at least here in the United States, I'll say. So you're gonna get it, right? You get the situation. It's gonna be some kind of family or gathering of friends or something, right? Which is what happens at the holidays, especially around Christmas. And that's essentially every horror movie is the writer wanting to kill their family or friends. I'm pretty convinced. So you can take that as you like
And
when you watch your next horror movie.
Well, and it's about the same. I was going to say it's usually about the time I turn on the Christmas horror movie is when I've reached about my limit of family and friends and just the general population around Christmas time.
Yes. Because there's a lot of societal pressures and expectations of that time, and the joy and happiness and all that being part of it. And it's not we don't all get that, and for some of us, holidays are really rough. So that's another way that horror plays on that psychological aspect of art triggers. I made that up. Yeah.
What was your favorite scene
in Christmas Bloody Christmas?
Yeah.
There is nothing more fun that I've ever done than riding around on the back of an ambulance at about 45 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour. So there's a great scene at the end near the end of the movie that they harnessed me to the back of the ambulance, and that was actually me. And actually, Riley Dandy driving, so that was pretty exciting. That's a good time for sure. That's what you want as an actor, is to get to do that kind of stuff that you couldn't possibly do in real life, for me.
So, did you do most of your own stunts, or how many of your own stunts did you get to do, rather?
In Christmas Bloody Christmas, there's I think there's one shot of the stunt guy in the back of the ambulance, maybe from behind, but the rest of it that wound up in the movie is me, I'm pretty sure, for that sequence. I'm trying to think if there's any other stunts. One of Joe's main collaborators, a guy called Josh Ethier, who does all his editing and finishing and all that, and co-producing, and he's the real secret sauce of that duo, if I can say that. He had to wear the suit one night because I got viciously motion sick, and so a few of the shots of Santa when he's looming over the young boy, that's Josh. Luckily, he and I are a similar build. He actually looks more like Santa Claus than I do, so I'm being honest. And he's in the movie. He plays the bartender in the movie. He's a great actor and great guy. It's just a cool group of people, and that's the main thing, Moose, is you want to wind up working with people you love and care about and respect what they do, and going to the makeup shop to get my face cast and seeing all the monsters and the robots and all that. I love doing all that stuff. So it's one of my very favorite film experiences, Christmas Bloody Christmas. Watch it this winter when you're sick of your family.
Have there been any talks about a sequel?
There were talks about a sequel, but it has to make some money for people who want to make a sequel. So give it 3 or 4 years of people seeing it and spreading the word, and maybe there'll be another one. He has ideas. Joe Vegas has ideas for sure. If you're listening to this and you are looking to invest in a filmmaker, I can't recommend him more. He's got a lot of great ideas. And just a fucking good dude. That's what you want, Moose. Find the good ones.
Now,
Arf.
If you could pick any horror character to play in any movie, who would you pick?
Well, what do you mean in like an existing horror? You know what I would pick, honestly? I would pick Jack the Ripper.
Ooh.
That hasn't been done in a long time. There's a lot of cool ways you could do it. And I'm not British, but that's the character. That would be a fun horror character.
It really would.
Yeah. I like that era of Victorian England. I'm a big Sherlock Holmes fan and a Jack the Ripper fan, or well, not to say fan, but for instance, you've probably seen From Hell, the movie version.
Mm-hmm.
But the comic book of that is one of my very favorite things ever written. Alan Moore, really amazing. So I like that idea, and it would be cool to shoot it in the same kind of like fucking punk rock low budget way.
Yeah.
Some British kid, if some British kid is listening to this, please go do that, because that's a British story. It should be done right by the UK youth.
So, do you have
Still
any?
unsolved, I think.
I think so. Yeah. Do you have any upcoming projects that you're working on that you can talk about?
Let's see. Can I talk about anything? I have one upcoming project that I don't think I have a Western that hasn't been sold yet, so we don't know when or where. Let's put it that way. But it's finished and it's out there, and you'll know when it comes out. Put it that way. You will.
This is the best pitch ever. I can't tell you anything about it, but damn it, you'll know.
I did. I told you it's a Western, and it's a Western, and you're going to hear about it. I can guarantee you both those things.
Oh, my God.
And that's where we'll leave it, I think, Moose, because it's not going to get any better than that. What a fun conversation. Thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm so glad we got this locked down. Do you have any social media links or anything that listeners can follow you on?
Yeah, I guess I'm on X at Abraham Benrubi. I'm on Instagram at Jambon Deluxe. And that's it. And I'm not a giant engager on either, but I poke at them both. So if somebody wants to hire me, no. If somebody wants to reach out and ask or say something, it's always fun to hear from people in that way, like you. I appreciate it, Moose.
Oh, absolutely. And listeners, I will put those links in the episode description, so if you want to poke at them, feel free. And you can find me and other great podcasters over at electronicmediacollective.com. Or if you just want to find me, you can find me over on Facebook, X, and YouTube at Moose Media Inc. Just follow the Moose. And Abe, like I said, I'm so glad we were able to get this done. I kind of wish I lived closer to California, because I think you and I would have a lot of fun hanging out.
I think we could probably while away a few hours.
Right.
Yeah, man.
We'll find some time to.
Omaha's great, dude.
Come out this way in the summer.
Yeah.
Don't come out now. It's cold.
Fun, actually. I've only flown through there. I'd like to come out there, actually. It's a beautiful part of the world. Thank you for having me, Moose, and I'm going to follow all your socials and all that.
Absolutely.
Do well. Happy holidays.
You too. And look forward to the rest of Season 5 for 2024. And until next time, Horror Hounds, mash on.